guys, we're ready to work on our second of our series. And let's start by going over here to our creative assignments. And you guys are working in your hopes and dreams. We're going to work on the second assignment, which is right here. It's the I am from, and I just love this little picture. I hope you like it too. But it kind of has a very nostalgic feeling. So we're going to go ahead and click on it. And this is our project. This is the second one. It's called I Am From. And as an overview, what you're going to do is you're going to use photographs and copyright-free images. You're going to use at least two photographs to create a work of art or a composite about where you're from. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a map, and it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to define a country. It's more about it can do with the country, but it's also about the feelings that are associated from where you're from, the foods, the smells, the memories, the things that have been passed down to you. So that's what we're really, really focusing on. You can look at this rubric if you open it up so you know exactly how you're going to be graded. You can check out this rubric on your own. We're not going to go through every bit of this right now. It's pretty much the same thing as how I graded you from the I Am projects. Okay, so notice that you have symbols and representation, your layout and composition. You've got a good focal point and emphasis. It's very important. I don't want it to just be a collage where you throw things together. You've got a focal point and emphasis. You're communicating a good design, and let's move on. Okay, so check that out in more detail on your own. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this for you. So the guidelines, you need to use at least 2 images that you take from your camera. I'd like to see you use more than that, but I want you to have at least 2. Think about our shot compositions. Think about the interesting things that you learned about taking good photographs. You should articulate the creative response to an issue that's related to where you're from. So think about that. So you need to use some repetition and variation in how you organize the elements. And everything needs to come together in one composition that moves your eye around the piece. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute. You may include text, although I will tell you that I would like for you to move away from that, but I have a lot of people I've had some people take photographs of old letters that have been passed down through the generations. So, if something like that is interesting to you, then yes, include text. But don't label your work, okay? Don't label it like it's a poster for school. You're going to be layering your images. Here's your document dimensions. On your own, I want you to read this beautiful poem by Ella Lyon, and then you're going to write your own poem, just like we did with the I Am projects. So here's the format for that. You can do that on your own, and then just kind of review all of this. This says that there's samples on here on the Google or on the G Drive, and you guys don't have access to that unless you're at school. So from home, to get examples, what you can do is you can come over here to the Pinterest examples that I have posted for you and take a look at those, okay? And all of these images are very much about where somebody is from, okay? So let's take a look at this one. And we're going to take a look at a couple of things. I want you to look at the fact that there is negative space in here. Yeah, there's clouds, okay? But this is still very much about the negative space. So you have negative space, which can be just as important as what's going on in the positive space. So think about how you can utilize. You don't have to fill up every single bit of space in your work. Okay, so I'll show you an example of a really, really busy piece. Okay, so this is really busy. The milk kind of gives your eye a chance to rest, but this is Tom Wesselman, and he has work that is just really busy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of dynamics. It's bright, it's colorful, it's energetic. So you don't have to make it really busy like this. Sometimes with high school, I've noticed that high schoolers are afraid to leave things empty in some areas. Like here, this is empty. It's not like this particular picture. There's not a whole lot going on. You've got the foreground, this guy in the foreground, your middle ground, and then the background. He added some extra clouds in there, but not a whole lot going on. Okay. The other thing you can do to help simplify your work is to think about what kind of color scheme you're going to use. I suggest that every picture you bring in, you need to think about how you want to change the color. Do you want to make it black and white? Do you want to give everything sort of these old earthy tones to have it flow together? Or do you want to brighten it up and give it high contrast colors? Here's another one where this artist has used um, a lot of black and white, but then color in one specific focal area. So check out these images um, and let me know if you have any questions. Here's an example of where somebody has included the text. Go away, Blogspot. Okay, has incorporated the text, but it is not to label. Okay, it's not to label something. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get to prior students' examples. Give me just a second. Okay, so here's a couple of examples. Um, this is a really nice piece. It's done by Amaya, so she definitely has her focal point, and then she let herself have some negative space in here. She does have some overlapping of images in the background, which look really nice, but I felt like that was a successful piece. Here is Ta from last year, or actually he did this 2 years ago. So I really thought that was interesting how his focal point just kind of, it really did a lot of movement in here. So he did a good job of making that movement with this repetition of images. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so Jeannie did a beautiful job as well. She's got some images in her background and in her foreground. I know Frida's turned out really nice. Let's open that one up. Now these students all used transparent images and overlapped. You don't have to do that. You don't have to take that approach. It's just what they decided to do. Let's see. Okay, so you don't have to use the approach of using transparent images. That's an example of somebody that did not do that. This is a great example too, where you have a little more abstract. Okay. So what you're going to do today is just finish reading about this, read about what you're going to be doing for the end result of this project. Then you're going to move on, watch this video for the example of the poem. It's a beautiful poem. I really want you to hear her voice as she's reading the poem to you. And then you're going to write your poem, and that'll give you some ideas for how you can capture a feeling with your project.